All right. You know, I had a plan. Uh, God had another, and this is not the beginning of the story, but it's how I got into this spot currently. About this time last year, Mother's Day, as a matter of fact, um, was the would have been the 102nd birthday of my grandmother, and it was also Mother's Day. We had a little celebration celebrating, her life and her birthday, and I got a little drunk, and that'll be a theme throughout. But I got a little drunk and forgot to call my own mother. So I felt guilty. So the next morning I tried to call her. No answer, which wasn't a surprise. Called her again that evening. No answer. My brother says he talked to her on Monday. So we know Monday she may have just been mad at me or she may have been out. I don't know. Tuesday I tried to call her. No answer. Tuesday afternoon I get a call from my brother. She was dead. And I had a tremendous amount of guilt about that. So whatever. What did I do? I got drunk. All right. So we go through the rest of to the early summer, midsummer, and I'm doing Uber Eats, which I'd been doing for about 3 years. I'd left the restaurant business, was just doing Uber Eats and picking up odd jobs. Um, but I'd lived in my house for 18 years. I'd made a lot of money in the restaurant business, and it paid my house off, and I just was going nowhere. So I decided, you know what? Fuck it. Sell the house, travel the country, buy a truck and trailer, and just travel the country. I mapped out a day in October that was 250 days out from July 4th. And I said, I'm selling the house. I'm leaving that day. It was like October 22nd or something. I had it on the calendar. I had it circled. And I wrote in Sharpie, departure day, freedom day. And because my mother was dead and my father was, I barely saw him anymore because he was always at the lake or doing something with my niece. I was like, shit, there's nothing keeping me here. Wasn't dating anybody seriously. My few friends that I played golf with, I could have done without. So, plan to sell the house. House sells at the end of August. House sells at the end of August. Um, the guy I sold it to was shooting a movie that he wouldn't be back in Memphis because he was my roommate. He'd been my roommate for 18 years, but was never there because he was always off shooting a movie. Technical crew. He never started anything, but anyway, I actually worked with him on a few sets. It was cool. But anyway, so he said, "Hey man, I know we've sold." He goes, "I'm not going to be back until early October, so that's cool." He says, "I said, well, I'm not leaving until October 22nd." He goes, "Oh, you just stay until you're ready to leave." So I'm like, "That's great, dude. Thanks." So I started looking for a truck and a trailer. And I was like, found one. Well, like I said, I had a plan. God had another one. Well, my dad's supposed to have angioplasty. They said, no, you need triple bypass. So he told me, go ahead and take my trip. He'll be fine. And here's the deal, though. My stepmother has dementia, and it's only getting worse. And he has to take care of her. He has to watch my niece, and he's incapacitated for at least 6 weeks, which is right was in when I was leaving, and I was like, I can't leave him to do something that I want to do. But the house was already sold. Well, my old roommate who bought the house says, hey, just stay with me until you're ready to leave. And I was like, he goes, you can rent from me. My whole point was getting out of that freaking house that I'd lived in for 18 years. So I was like, no, I said, I need a change anyway. So I rented a house, paid cash for it for the year. I'm like, so cool. Got that. I'll just keep doing Uber Eats to make the money back that I paid on rent. And then when the lease is over, I'll just make a shorter trip to DC and still be in DC for the 250th birthday of America. Cool, that works. Well, God had other plans. I've mentioned drunk and drinking. Yeah, been there for a while. So December, December 7th, December 8th. I can't remember which. I think it was December 7th, bled into December 8th. Well, December 8th would have been my mother's 73rd birthday. So what did I do? I got drunk. Went to this little bar 2 miles from my house, maybe less, and talking to people at the bar, drinking beer, taking shots of whiskey, talking about music. Next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital with a severe concussion, huge lump in my head, and severe laceration. And my entire left side was just tore up. And I thought I just passed out drunk. I mean, I was drunk. Well, the doctor said, yeah, you're drunk. Your blood alcohol content's way, way up there. He goes, but that's not why that's not why you collapsed. He goes, you had a stroke. I said, a stroke? He's like, yeah, man. Or he probably didn't say, yeah, man. He goes, yes, he goes, it wasn't severe. You didn't lose any facial. He goes, I don't know he goes, you injured your arm and your shoulder and your knee in the fall. He goes, we won't know if you lost any function there until all that other stuff heals. So anyway, he's like, and not only that, because of your alcohol consumption, he didn't say alcoholism, he might as well have. He says, because your alcohol consumption, you've had several little strokes over a few years at least. And I was like, you know, I blame some of my issues that I've had in the last 4 or 5 years on just drinking too much. But after he told me that and what happened that day, mom's birthday, feeling guilty, like I said, feeling guilty, I was like, you know what? I Now that I'll think about it, I have been having little strokes. So I mean, my blood pressure goes up and down because of the drinking and sometimes a lack of exercise. But that should have been a wake up. I mean, I was in the restaurant business for 30 plus years, and restaurant people drink. But I was one of those that if I needed to go 4 or 5 days without, yeah, I'd have a couple beers after work. But if I went 2, 3 weeks without having maybe a beer or two, I was fine. And then I'd go out with a couple of days off and I'd get drunk. Or sometimes I'd sit at home watching a sports game with nothing to do and drink way too much. But that changed at COVID. A lot of people, especially if you're my age and if you're Gen X, and if you're between born in 65 to 80 or whatever, a lot of us, we had to take care of ourselves anyway. Well, I took care of myself with vodka, and that's the first thing I beat. I got really, really bad on vodka, and they were about to put me in rehab. I said nope. So I got off the vodka, and it was rough. I tried to go cold turkey. I made it 2.5 days. You don't ever want to do that. If you ever quit drinking, if you're a heavy drinker, don't go cold turkey. I mean, I was in bad shape, hallucinating and everything. But got off that, got to really working hard, got the house finished, paid off during that period. See, that was 21. So yeah, 23 got the house finished, paid off. So I had a house free and clear. So maybe I was stupid for selling it. I don't know. But I had a plan. I had cash. I had a plan. Like I said, God had another plan. So got here, got the concussion, found out I had a stroke, and it turns out I did have some loss of function in my left eye, uh, my left arm, left leg. I have bad dizzy spells. It's just so I basically couldn't work much. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't quit drinking. And that leads us to last Thursday. I had been on a bender. Don't know why. Just was bored, had nothing else to do. Can't work. Here alone. Really don't have. I mean, the two friends I have, they like to drink a lot. So what do we do when we hang out? We drink a lot. We play golf and we drink a lot. And that's what sucks about the left side over here is it really affected my golf game. Not that I was great anyway, but I'll never be I'll never be a scratch golfer, and I never was close to one. But I'll never be close for sure. But anyway, so last Thursday we went to play golf. As per usual, I didn't eat anything, thinking I'd eat when we got done, or I'd get a hot dog on the course. Slamming White Claws, taking shots. Supposed to go out and meet them for dinner. I was like, I'm too drunk. Drove my drunk ass home, which I shouldn't have. And so I'm gonna lay down for a minute. Well, I woke up at 8, so I probably laid down at 5:30. Woke up at 8, and feeling awful. So I said, "Hey, I think I've got another White Claw, and I think I got a little bottle of Jack Daniels shot, the little Jack, a double shot." So I think I got a double shot still in there. It was in my golf bag, so I had to go out and get my golf bag. It was still in the van, and so I slammed the double shot, chased it with the White Claw, went back to bed at midnight, and my God, what a rough night! Oh my Lord, it was rough. Coming off, I mean, everything hurt. Getting up, throwing up, it was awful. So during one of my many trips to puke, I looked in the mirror and I said, "You can't do this anymore." And I looked up. I said, "God, if I survive this night, I'm going to do what it takes, and I mean it this time." So I got up the next morning and I waited. I shook, I shook, I shook, I shook, I shook, I shook. And undoubtedly, miraculously, I had stopped and bought White Claws on the way home. Don't remember doing it. So I had 4 tall cans of White Claw in the fridge. I said, "Well, that's got to last me today. Those 4 cans have got to last me today. I don't care how bad I feel." So I went from 7 tall White Claws and 3 shots on the golf course and a double shot to drinking 4 cans that next day. You're talking about rough. So that was Friday, and that was last Friday. And then so toned it down, toned it down, toned it down. Now I'm drinking. I had 4 White Claws yesterday, 4 small ones, because that's all I had left. And today I'm drinking that. Now you're saying, "Gene, you're Gene X, you're trying to quit drinking." You can't just stop. Trust me on this. My brother was a raging alcoholic, and 12 years ago, probably. I am. He was. Um, he he wanted. They were trying to check him into rehab, and he was like, "No." He was Amy Winehouse in it, though. But he took 2 weeks. He eliminated the hard stuff. He was drinking just beer. Or he went to wine, and then he went to just beer. And then he eventually, after about 6 weeks, he got off of everything. So it can be done. It's not for everybody, and I'm not advising anybody that's severe alcoholic just to stop. But you can you can sip on an ultra. You can eliminate the hard stuff and sip on one of these. So that was my sober plan. And right now, let's see, I've got the notes, what I've done so far. Yeah, I've been tracking it. You can't read my chicken scratch, and it's backwards. So I've been tracking how much I drank. So on day 0, which was, I call that the day before, the rock bottom day, I had 8, because I didn't count the one after I woke back up. I had 8 large White Claws, 5 shots of whiskey, because I had 3 on the golf course. The next day, the next day I drank 6 small White Claws. Okay, it wasn't just 4. I bought a 12-pack drunk, so I didn't buy 4 cans. I bought a 12-pack of White Claws. I drank 6 small ones. I didn't have the first one till 9 o'clock. Well, then again, I slept till almost 9 o'clock. and I had my last one at 6. On day 2, I drank the other 6 out of the 12 pack. Had my first one at 9, my last one at 8. Day 3, I had 4 tall ones. I didn't drink till 11, and I sipped on them until 9. Then yesterday, I messed up a little bit yesterday. I met my friend out for lunch, and I had 2 tall beers. I had 2 tall beers and 3 White Claws, 3 tall White Claws. But here's the best part. I didn't have my first one until noon, and I had my last one at 7. Now, this isn't about, this part of this channel is going to be about me struggling to quit drinking, but the main part of it, and I had my first Ultra prepping for this video. I just opened this one. It's a second. And I had it at 11 o'clock. So, it's Central Time. But, like I said, this is going to be a lot about me getting over my struggle with alcohol. But I'll tell you what it's really about. So my first few videos, sorry, I'm just bouncing all over the place. My first few videos, while I was still really drunk, and I thought this is going to be a great plan. I'm going to do a challenge, and I'm going to challenge myself to do 100 videos each day, and I'm going to try to make $100,000 in 100 days. So it's all about money. It was going to be content too, but it was going to be all about money. And they were okay. They got a little bit, my shorts got a little bit of traction. I only made one full-length video, and it was a live video. And then when it went to my channel, I got like 3. I got a couple of negative comments on it telling them I was just trying to sell stuff. I was like, well, so I went back and watched all my shorts, and I watched all of my, and I rewatched that live. And the live was pretty good. I was basically telling the story I'm telling now, but I was also trying to sell something at the same time. And I will put a couple links on some books that I had for self-help and for stuff like that. The last one I had written was about eugenics, and I'm not going to put them in anything until maybe next week or the after. These are all about, there's nothing. This is just all about getting all this off my chest and seeing what I can do. So I looked at those videos, and I said, these suck. I've got to change direction. And then I thought about it. I'm like, God has a different path for me. God has kept me alive this long for some reason. And I'll give many incidents where I should be dead. And for some reason, God's kept me alive. I don't know why. I do not know why. But I asked, I said, God, what can I do? What do I need to do? Because this is not the right way. And I don't know if it was my own mom telling me this when I went to sleep, but I heard a voice that said, just tell your story. Just tell your story. I was like, okay. And then another voice said, Gene, you could do it. And I swear it was either God and Jesus or Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I don't know. It was not my own voice. It was not my dad's voice. It wasn't a friend's voice. It wasn't my Uncle Dickie. He was my favorite uncle who's been dead and COVID took him. Well, he died. He died during COVID, and I couldn't go see him. None of those voices. But it went straight through me, and I was like, okay. Maybe that's been the plan all along. Maybe that's why I'm still alive. God has a plan for everybody. And Jesus is the guide to God. So, and it doesn't have to be, if you're not a drunk like me, if there's other things that are missing in your life and you need, or if you have God in your life, but you don't know what he wants of you, just ask. Signs are there. The signs are there. And this isn't going to be preachy all the time. I'm not going to be all preachy. This may be the preachiest one. But there is a path. And I'm going to put mine on YouTube, but You choose your own path and the way you want to do it. And hopefully we'll make a journey together. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.